Welcome to the Smart Fit. Today's recipe. After receiving countless requests and some threats to unsubscribe, we're making the Spanish omelet or tortilla de patata. For this recipe, we need potatoes, specifically 4 medium or 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds. 7 medium chicken eggs. You can see ours are pretty fresh, they still have feathers on them and everything. Now this is controversial here, but onion, some say yay, some say nay, but we're gonna use half a medium-sized onion. That white flaky stuff we just can't get enough of, kosher salt, and finally a decent quality olive oil. I personally wouldn't use my top of the line extra virgin olive oil nor a vegetable oil, but if that's all you got, let's make this. Oh, and if you didn't know, you could take care of that wooden cutting board with a little lubrication of olive oil. And that's it, 5 ingredients you've got in the house right now. Some patience, a glass of Spanish tempranillo, and you're in Spain. We're gonna start by peeling our potatoes because we're not making French fries, so the skin's gotta go. These aren't a very starchy potato, but neither are they a waxy variety. It's somewhere in the middle. A little fumbling around, scoop and score, and be careful not to shave some of your fingers off. It happens, so don't take the peeler for a chump. Give them a quick rinse so they don't start oxidizing on you, and also to rinse some of the starch. Now here come the details. Cut the potatoes into small cubes, about 1 centimeter on each side. No need to break out the ruler, just use it as a guideline. Now I've never used this method for cutting a potato, and personally I'd say you don't try this at home. We don't want any phalanges in our final dish. But I mean, she looks happy cutting her potatoes this way, and she does have the knife, so I'm not gonna say anything. Another way to cut the potato is like this. All right, give me the knife.
No, why? I was fine.
Yeah, but I wasn't, and you were making everyone nervous.
You never let me have fun.
Cut a thin slice off so you have a flat surface to work with. Now Mr. Potato Head can't wobble away. Cut it in half, and half again, and then slice and dice. Again, looking for a potato with 1 centimeter on each side. I mean, look at those, that looks pretty uniform. Now take your potatoes, scoop them, and put them in a bowl. From there, we're just gonna put them in a colander and rinse off more of that starch. This will give you a little more control on how thick the egg and potato mixture gets. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Spanish tip. Salt the potatoes lightly, this will soften and start to season them. We're not making French fries here, so crispy is not what we're looking for in this recipe, but we still want depth of flavor. So doing this takes care of both. So season and wipe your hands over the bowl, or don't if you're cooking for others. Put that aside for now. Slicing onion. Nothing too fancy here, just cut the top off, remove the outer layer, cut it in half through the root, then slice following the natural lines of the onion from bottom to top. Turn it sideways and slice thinly. Heat a pan to medium heat and add your olive oil. The olive oil is to Spain what corn oil is to United States in that it's not that expensive. There's no exact amount of oil per se, but we're basically going to confit potatoes. To confit something is to cook something in oil at a very low temperature, where frying is cooking something in oil at a very high temperature. In other words, add enough oil to fry the potatoes without actually frying the potatoes. Another reason why I said to use a middle of the line olive oil, or else it's gonna come out to be pretty expensive. We used our bitten looking spatula to measure the depth and got a reading of 1 centimeter. Super accurate, I know. To test the temperature of the oil, drop a single tater tot in the pan and see if it bubbles. If it doesn't, wait. If it does, great. Add in the rest of the potatoes using a slotted spoon. You do not want to drop water into hot oil. So carefully slot them in on top of each other and then spread them out. At this point, every potato should be swimming in a tempered, luscious bath of olive oil. If the top of the layer of potatoes are not in contact with the oil, don't be shy and add some more. Add your diced white onion on top of the bath of potatoes and do not mix, just let them steam there. And remember, super important, the heat is on medium. You don't want crispy edges, or else the marriage of eggs and potatoes will be as successful and realistic as the ones between baby boomers and millennials in South Florida. After 2 to 3 minutes, go ahead and give it a turn. The point here is to check the heat level and make sure it's not too high. If you have browning and crisping, you need to turn it down ASAP. But if it looks like nothing is happening, but the oil is bubbling, then you're at that sweet spot. Check and turn every 3 to 5 minutes to make sure we're not browning. When the potatoes are soft and almost falling apart, you turn up the heat to medium high and get a little bit of that Maillard reaction, aka browning. It should look like this. And we're done. Take out the potatoes, and there are 3 ways. The spider ladle method, where you scoop and score. The push method, where you literally push the potatoes out of the oil. Or the directly through a fine mesh strainer method. Regardless, you want to allow the oil to drain off and save for later use. Again, we didn't fry anything here, so the oil is good for reuse. After removing the feathers, just in case, crack your eggs on a flat surface and then open into a large bowl. Crack an egg and leave it on the table, egg yolk and all if you want to. She's been working out and doesn't know her own strength, just like Lenny in Of Mice and Men. As the saying goes, don't cry over spilled yolks. Fine, that's not the way it goes, but you're not even listening. Finish cracking the remaining eggs, successfully landing them in the bowl. Then we fish out any rogue shells. Any day now, you point and laugh, and replace the lost chicken embryo. Add a pinch of salt to each egg yolk. This just helps to ensure we're not over or under salted. Take Old Faithful mini whisk and beat it up. Just really get in there aggressively and flick that wrist. In the end, it should be pretty smooth, yellow and white part mixed homogeneously. Yeah, you know, something like that. Oh, I forgot to mention the egg should be brought to room temperature, and then we add just a little of potato confit in to make sure the eggs are tempered. We don't want to cook them prematurely, as we know with most situations ending prematurely, it just isn't satisfying. And I'm not speaking from experience, I'm just saying. Go ahead and dump in the rest of the taters and start to work it. Don't just mix, but also give a few smashes with the fork. A few, don't get carried away now. And that's the texture we're looking for. It's not completely runny, but it's mixed in. The next big tip, just a tip. Let it sit for 3 minutes. And if you thought cake batter was good, you gotta try raw eggs and potato. Just kidding, this is optional, and although I've partaken in this risky and raunchy act, I'd rather just trust that I season it well enough. See, exactly after 3 minutes, our omelet batter, is this a batter? Our omelet is thicker and more viscous versus how it was before. Now we're ready to close the deal. Heat half a teaspoon in a small 21 centimeter or 8-inch pan, preferably non-stick over medium-high heat. Roll the oil and add in half of your mixture. Pat it down and set a timer for 1 minute, just 1 minute. You can shape the edges and swirl the pan to make sure it's not stuck. Take a larger plate than the pan to flip your omelet. Use a larger plate just in case some of the egg runs off during the slip. Don't doubt, just flip like you've done this before. It's that easy. Don't be scared, I know you can do it. Add another half teaspoon of olive oil, give it a quick swirl, and quickly slide your omelet back in. Shape and cook for just 1 minute, not more. Give it a quick shimmy. Be better prepared than we were and have your plate next to you. Take your pan out, slide your omelet on your plate, and that's it. Welcome to Spain. We personally like the ham and cheese version. I bet you've never had a ham and cheese omelet like this before. Add the oil to the pan, swirl, and add in half of the remaining mixture. Spread. Go ahead and layer the cheese and then the ham, or turkey, whatever you want to use, and top with the rest of the eggs and potatoes. Spread that out to the edges to seal in the American cheese and help it melt. Again, you've only got 1 minute, so you gotta be quick. No room here for second guessing. I believe in you. The little geysers of vapor mean that your pan is very hot. So make sure you set the timer 1 minute each side if you haven't heard me say it already. You remember the slip and slide? Well, this is flip and slide, and it's going to bring you just as good of memories, unless you got hurt on the slip and slide, in which case this is better. Go ahead and slide the tortilla back in. If this happens to you, do not panic. It's okay, Chico's here to tell you what to do. Cook the allotted 1 minute, then you're gonna have to flip one more time. Slide it in and cook just long enough for it to kiss the pan. About 20-second kiss, and flip to remove. Done. And no one will ever know you almost tripped at the finish line. We're done. This is the Spanish omelet. Spanish tortilla, tortilla patata, tomato, it's all the same thing. However, This is a really, really great omelet. That's me cooking. I promise I'm having fun. Here, traditionally, they serve it with a little green pepper. It's called the pepper of the country, but in the United States, you can find it as a Melrose pepper. So when you cut in, it should look like this. It's like a medium rare egg. It's not runny, and it's not well done. But like I said before, my favorite one, our favorite one, is the ham and cheese. So the cheese adds obviously more richness to the center. I mean, look at that cheese pool. It just looks great. And you have a little bit of extra protein in the ham or turkey, whatever you decide to put in there. This is the one you should make. When you come to Spain, you're gonna find this in every single bar. It's not just a breakfast item like omelets are in the States. This thing is enjoyed all day long for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can eat it hot, you can eat it cold, you can eat it somewhere in the middle, you can eat it in a sandwich, you can eat it by itself. So before we cook, we typically don't eat, so I'm always looking forward to this moment, and it bothers me when we're not ready. Cut it in half, we taste it, and this is exactly what I expected. Wanted a warm, moist, excuse the word, tortilla. As always, Alazna is eating whatever's on my plate and whatever's on her plate, cutting herself a bigger slice than she leaves for me.
No.
That's true. This is the ham and cheese. Just look at the expression on my face. Bam. That's what I'm talking about. There's no competition. There's no competition. The ham and cheese one is definitely worth making. So of course, if I've got to rank these, I'm gonna say the first one is a 10, and then the ham and cheese is a 10 plus 1. What do you think? Leave your comments below. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Alazne, where's the rest of the tortilla?